Now we'll get it going. All right, folks, it's just about 4 o'clock here, and this is the Recreation Committee meeting for March. Thank you all for coming and joining us again. Look forward to hearing your reports. And we've got a relatively standard agenda for today, but we do have some guests that have joined us, I see. So it is our tradition to let the guests stand up for a moment and introduce themselves and share their thoughts. And we try to limit that to 3 minutes if you'd like to do that. So I see Debbie Sorensen has joined us, and I'd like to welcome you up to the microphone.
I am an alumni of this committee. Hi, everybody. A lot of you I don't know. I'm here for several reasons. First of all, I'm the individual who organizes the welcome meet and greet for the new residents, and the next one is March 19th, which is on Saturday, and we have about 45 people registered, which is a little under the normal, but we'll also probably get more walk-ins depending on the weather. And Tom speaks and Peter Christie speaks, and we usually have about 50 people that come, new residents, and we'll have about 20 stick around for lunch. So it'll be fun. And Janet helps with that along with another crew. So anyway, the welcome meet and greet, and then we'll also have one in June. So Tom, once we get those dates set. Also, I am involved with the silent auction for the APT, which is coming up, which is the WAPT and the APT golf tournament in May. And Katie Hinkle and I are working on the silent auction on all the items. I'm going to ask couple things. If any of you have any extra baskets at home that are sitting in your basement or in this garage and you don't need them, please let Jessica know, and then she'll let me know, and I'll come by and pick them up. We need baskets for the items. Also, if any of you are working individuals, or your husbands are working, or your wives are working, and they would be willing to maybe consider donating any auction items for the auction. The auction goes to the 5 charities that we've chosen this year. And anyway, I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but it's very, very important on the auction. So if any of you have any auction items, I'm sure Tom has my email address also, so he can give that to you. And lastly, and the main reason I'm here, I just wanted to remind the committee that as Reardon is developed and Bella Vista expands, I want to make sure this committee doesn't forget the game and the card players. And we play a lot at Papa Mike's, which is a vital area for us to play. Some are played at Reardon. We used to play here, which we lost that privilege. So I just want to remind this committee that the game and the card players, I know we're usually an older bunch of women, but we definitely do count, and I just wanted to remind everybody not to forget us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Please do, Tom.
Are we remiss to not introduce Jessica McCreary? She is our new corporate secretary. You may remember her from working at Reardon and at Branchwood, but she's stepped into this role about 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to let everybody know. So if you get an email or the minutes need to be sent in and so forth, you're going to be contacting Jessica. Not to be confused with Jessica Hansen, who is soon going to change her first name to make things easier on us.
Welcome.
I had a nice joke, but I'm going to pass. So,
I'm sure they all appreciate it.
All right, then, back to visitors. We have a lady in the back here. Welcome up.
Hi, my name is Lauren Stewart. My husband and I have lived here for about a year. We're tennis players. I was part of the group that was here last month. I apologize for the way that turned out. That was not the intention. The group that was there has pretty much put their trust in me to represent their interests to you all and report back to them any information that needs to get shared. I've spoken to a couple of you about my intention of joining this committee at some point or another when there is an opening, and I hope you consider me when that time comes. one thing that I wanted to point out to everybody is that Joan was extremely responsive to the last meeting. She was out there with the crew the next day. The dangerous tree was down within a week. Lots and lots of things have happened up there. Some things are still, we're kind of struggling with. I do want to address that with you particularly, but I just wanted to say thank you very much for your responsiveness, and I'll be back next month.
All right. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate the comments.
And what we try and do, what we try and teach our staff is, you know, at these meetings, we will receive a long list of items that need to be addressed. And what we try and do is nail the easy ones as quickly as possible, because it demonstrates that we heard and that we're trying. And then hopefully that gains us a little bit of grace with the ones that are going to take longer, either because we're so busy or we have to order something, those types of things. So I'm glad that Joan was able to jump on those things as quickly as possible.
We appreciate it.
Okay, I see one gentleman on my left back there. If you have any comments, please, we have the microphone open for you at this time.
Well, I can tell you that if you keep making me stand up behind this microphone and start dressing better, maybe a tie and a jacket, I don't know.
I see.
My name is Brian Michelson. I've lived here in the village for about 1.5 years now. And I used to work out here doing remodeling some years back. Did that for about 7, 8 years. Anyway, I did have a couple of questions. I didn't plan on addressing them, but being as you guys pulled me up here once again, I'll go ahead and lay it out there. One, I noticed walking Branchwood on the paved trail out there that those beautiful marker stones that were installed to tell you how far, they're broken. So something, I guess, the question I would have is there a means before we go and do something like that? And I think it's wonderful, but we review all of the procedure for installation. My assumption would be is that maybe during snow removal, they were run over and there was not enough below them to support the weight, or even the stones themselves were not of an appropriate strength to handle that kind of load. But those are things that maybe before money is spent to put those in, and there again, I think they're marvelous and they're beautiful, but obviously they didn't last very long. I think I saw them once when they looked good, and then when I was out there a week or so ago, I think all of them have been run over and broken at this point. So maybe a little more forethought when things like that are done. Great idea, they look great, but they're all broke now. The other thing that I was curious about, and I did try to do my homework on this before I wanted to pose this question, the ever controversial drone usage. I myself am a home inspector. I want to bring drones into my inspection business. I have gone through and I've purchased a drone. I've gotten my commercial drone license from the FAA. Done all that good stuff, and I know that drones are controversial. Right now, my understanding is that there is nothing that will keep you from flying a drone in Bella Vista. Certainly, you should do so respectfully. That's not why I'm asking this question. What I wanted to understand is that there are rules in place in certain municipalities where even though the municipality has no control over the airspace, which they do not, they certainly have control on public land, or in this case, POA land, or possibly city land, where you're not allowed to launch a drone from. I was wondering if there was any rules in place, the parks, for example, which is why I kind of bring it to this committee, or if there is any intent on addressing any of those. And I'm just doing this to make sure I don't step on any toes while I go about doing the business of not only using a drone for commercial purposes, which is my primary intent, but hey, if you're spending that kind of money, why not get a few pictures while you're at it? So there again, my question is, and certainly going forward, is there going to be, or is there currently anything in place that says you cannot take a drone off or land it in these locations? For example, the middle of a golf course, one of the parks, et cetera, et cetera. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I think that drone usage is going to become more prevalent it's something maybe to get ahead of.
Cutting edge thoughts. Tom was going to address the
So,
initially for you.
interesting, I attended a conference, and one of the issues that came up was drones. And they
Okay.
talked about FAA, that you can't control the airspace, because that's what the FAA does, but what some of the cities do, and you're saying exactly what they said is, you can't control the airspace, but you can control where they take off and land, because right now, drones have a limited, distance that they can travel. I'm sure that's going to change soon. Right now, we don't have anything in place. The POA does not, and to my knowledge, the city does not. And at this point, we are not contemplating anything. Well, that being said, it could change down the road, with the delivery, they're talking about having items delivered via drone, but at this point, that is not being considered.
Okay, you've answered my question, and thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it.
Sorry, and I'll speak to the mile markers you were talking about. So they've been out there for at least 6 years. And they've been out there for even before I came. And as we've gotten busier, there's a porta pit that's out there. And in probably, I think around about the half-mile marker, a little after. But the problem is that the BBB septic has to go out and empty it. Well, the way they have to access it is so they ran it over and they took responsibility for that, and we replaced it. And then the next guy, it's not always the same driver.
Right.
So we keep fighting that. So I wasn't aware that it was broke again. I know it's usually the half mile, but if they come down and they may have hit other ones, but they are beautiful and they are pricey. So maybe we need to start thinking about a different way to mark those, and we'll take note of that, because maybe a different way to do it, because it's obvious that it's going to keep getting run over if we keep replacing it.
Right. Sounds good.
But thank you for letting me know, because I didn't know that was broken. Sure. So we'll take note.
All right, thank you, guests. Valuable input. We really appreciate it. We'll move along to our regular section of the meeting under activity reports. And we'll start off with the first two, Branchwood Complex and Trail and the Loch Lomond Recreation Complex. Deborah, you can take both those.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I went out to both of them Sunday before last, late in the afternoon, so it was about 50 overcast. And when I got to Loch Lomond, I got caught in the rain, just FYI. But Branchwood was active, but not its normal packed. But there were people everywhere. There were people playing pickleball. There was a family on the playground, a few walkers, maybe a third of the fitness equipment in use. So maybe some of those January, whatever, kind of backed off. And the pool was really active. Everything out there was in really good shape. The area, the grounds, everything looked good. Things that I noted for review, both of the porta potties, the one up by Pickleball and the one up on the discourse, both of them, neither one of them have hand sanitizers in them. There's not even a unit there. So we should put something in there.
I can speak to that.
Please.
Because I just made a phone call today to BB&B Septic about that very issue. And they do not put hand sanitizers in their units that stay permanently, because they're tired of having them ripped off. And not only when they rip the hand sanitizer off the wall, they cause damage to the wall of the unit itself. So when you see nice, pretty hand sanitizers at like concerts and places where they're temporary, they do have hand sanitizers. And the feedback that I got was that they will not put them in. We would have to choose another company that would be willing to do that, I guess. So, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you for that. In the parking lot, there were two spaces where the sand from the snow and ice days, two spaces were covered. My guess is somebody was probably out there cleaning and somebody was probably parked there, so we just need to go back and look at that. There was a water hose, a garden hose, in one of the parking spaces, and a car literally was parked right on top of it. The library book return unit, the paint is all peeling off the back of it. So just from aesthetic standpoint, whoever owns that might want to look at it. Probably the biggest issue was there a very large tree down on the course right in front of hole number 6, and it looks like there might be a rotten tree and maybe half of it fell over. So the whole tree might have to go, but it was right in front of basket number 6. There's 2 maintenance sheds out there, and they look really rough. I would recommend painting them to match the color of all the other buildings out there, but aesthetically, they just don't look good. The nice deck out back, there was some big, large unit sitting on one of the tables. It looks like it might be left over from some project or something. Just with the weather getting nice, I'd put it up so that people will have somewhere to sit. And then you probably already know this because there's a picnic table out there that should have had 4 benches and it only has 3. So I'm making an assumption maybe it broke and we took a bench away, but if that's not what happened, just FYI, that's going on.
On the playground?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And then the tree on in front of hole number 6, it's not on the trail, but it's in front of the basket.
It's on the
of
grass, yeah. It looks like I might have just missed the basket.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
And the buildings, the 2 outbuildings, one was painted last year and the other was 2 years ago to match the building.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Okay.
Maybe I
Show
have found
me.
something different. These are in the back.
Okay, there is an out shed.
Yeah,
That's
not up
way
front.
back off the trail, almost hidden. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. And then my additional observation was that I didn't talk to anybody, so my apologies. There was a gentleman there visiting the rec center just to see what's available, which was interesting to me because the last 4 times I've been there, I've run into groups of people that are there just walking around, looking around, trying to get to know the area. So I thought that was interesting. But the racquetball courts didn't have the lights on, and he walked in that room, so he wouldn't know that the courts were there. And that's something we talked about before, about the lights seem to be the temporary solution to let people know those courts are there. And then I just have a question. So in front of the pickleball courts, it looks like we laid a small slab of cement and there's a big blue pole. I don't know what that is, and so I was curious.
So I was going to address that even on the update. So that'll be a sunshade structure. And so they've installed where it'll be held at. And Tuesday, the gentleman will be coming out and we'll be getting that sunshade installed. And then what's going to go underneath it, we've ordered. So benches and whatnot, hopefully. Those come in soon. The bench that I think you're talking about, I think that's a handicap bench to allow for a roll-up. Show me the picture, yeah, but yeah, show me the picture. But yeah, that'll be a sitting area for out by the pickleball courts.
Thank you, appreciate it. And then moving on to Loch Lomond, I didn't have much. Like I said, that's where I got caught in the rain. There were people out there. The small dog park was extremely active. I mean, it was full, and a lot of people walking. The restrooms were absolutely immaculate. I don't know if I got there right after they were clean. I'm telling you, they were immaculate. And then just a fun note, there were daffodils blooming all along the trail, and it just made me happy. And then the only other thing I noted, I didn't talk to anyone there either. I was trying to get out of there because it was raining. It looks like there has actually been some activity on the softball field. The pitcher's protective screen was up, and there were a lot of cleat marks in the dirt. So someone had been out there doing something since the last time I was there, because it didn't look like that last time. And that was all I had. Thank you.
Well, okay, good details. Thank you, Deborah. We can move along to the Blowing Springs Recreation Area, and Kathleen Coughlin is going to take care of that for us.
Hi, everybody. So I went out actually a few times last week, the week of March 7th. Lots of people out, a good mixture of bikers and walkers out on the trails. The trails look nice and clean. The bathrooms and amenities look clean. Trash cans were empty. I didn't see anything lying around on the ground. Nothing really big to report on. I do have a couple areas of feedback, not so much for review. The hours of operation for the Gear Garden online do not mirror up with actual hours of operation. It shows that they're only closed on Monday and Tuesday when they're actually closed for the season. So I just want to make sure as the weather is getting nicer, people are looking to get out and about, checking to see if they could stop by, that they're not showing up disappointed. And then I introduced myself to BG in the office, had a chat with him. He was wonderful and extremely helpful and nice. So it was good to meet him. And then member feedback. I had a question around the Pioneer member mugs from the Gear Garden and if they're going to continue to do those this year. I know you offered it last year along with the discount with the mug. So just ensuring that that's going to continue. You know, people spent money on those last year and they just want to make sure that they can take it back and still use them.
Huge success. We are going to
Sounds like
continue
it.
to, except for yours. All other ones will be honored.
Perfect.
Mine will be honored, of course. Yeah,
Wonderful.
we're planning on doing that again. They were a huge success.
Great.
So add more pioneers.
Yes. Add
good.
more Pioneer.
deal.
Wonderful. That was my biggest question from members. But yeah, everything looked great.
Sorry. Did you say that the Gear Garden, which one said that it was closed for the season?
The Facebook page for it, it says
Okay.
it's open, but it says
Okay.
it's closed for spring when you go to the actual.
There,
Mhm.
okay.
And then Google doesn't have any time. So if you even look it up on Google, it doesn't have much info.
Fortunately, we lost our digital content manager just recently. And so that individual is supposed to bring all that information together, all into one, and we got to start over.
I'll check on it though, okay.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Judy.
Yeah,
Okay. All set there?
all set. Thank you.
Thank you then. We'll move along to Tyree Park, I'm sorry. We'll go over to Janet Convoy for Tyree Park.
My sweet baby park
Yeah.
that I hope just gets an explosion of attendees. You know, everything looked great. It really, really did. And I mean, there was some incidental trash here and there, but that's always going to happen. And the porta potty was clean as a whistle, and the hand sanitizer was in there. I know, I went, Well, I mean, I didn't push it, but it was there because I hadn't seen one before otherwise. But playground equipment looked good. Everything was in working order. Picnic tables free of trash. Boat ramp appeared stable. Areas for review. Now, I'm glad you mentioned aesthetics because along, we have that wide expanse along the lake of, you know, they have new trees planted. And then back over by the, I guess it's a little stream coming from a spring, there's just a lot of tree and shrub debris. I mean, it just looks like a storm had come through. And it isn't particularly appealing. I mean, I don't think it's going to cause a safety hazard to anybody unless they go tromping them around back there. But it just looks crummy. Let's see. I also noted, and I think I mentioned this before, but the picnic tables that are made out of wood, especially the benches, they're developing some splinters, and I tend to be somebody that am a splinter magnet. So just in case, because you know, kids squirming around, it could easily cause some problems. Not all of them are that way, but we have several. And then finally, I took a picture, and I'll show you later, Rick. Anytime there's a wooden anything, I'm going to look at it. And the boat ramp, you know, all the board looks fine except for this one that has a big chunk out of it. And while you can't quite see all the way through it yet, I don't know if that's a problem or not. I mean, I'm not a structural engineer, God help me. But it just seems like it might be something to take a look at.
Is it a deck board? Is it on top, or is it?
It's on top.
Around, okay.
It's on top, and it's over toward the side. I'll show you.
Okay.
I did talk to some people. There were actually people out there. I was so excited.
Wow.
There was one guy that was just walking his dog and kind of doing a little meditative thing, because because the lake is still down. I've noticed several people kind of taking a tour of the rocks and whatever. And he said he just loves to come out there. It's such a nice place to walk dogs. And then there were 7 other people. That was 2 families that had brought their kids out. And they say they come out there because the kids just have so much fun. It's a nice area with the picnic tables. But they did say, you know, it would be nice if we had a little bit more equipment. You know, you've got the swings, and then the slide, big slide. And I was wondering, we have the shuffleboard pad on the other side, up on kind of the hill as you come in. But, you know, 1, I've never seen anybody playing it, and 2, I don't know that there's any equipment to play it.
There's not equipment to play. I mean, you would have to bring your own.
Okay. Okay.
You're thinking about maybe wanting to repurpose that?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
And I don't know what, not being someone that's played in the playground for some years, I'm not quite sure what that would look like in terms of anything that would be simple and not expensive and wouldn't be safety hazard for kids, but it's just something. It's such a nice park that I think, and you know, I've wanted to, you know, have that park be more in the public eye or awareness. And we don't even have, the city really hasn't had it, one of those new signs out. That's not there. It's just kind of basically a boat magnet, I guess, would be about the only thing I can say. But we've got like five or so picnic tables, just lovely. So anyway, that's all I had. Looks good, and I'll show you my picture.
All right, so a great resource. With a little bit more love, it could be
Yes.
even better. Huh?
Yes.
All right, those inputs were noted, I seen. We can move along then to another lake type of park. This will be Lake Avalon Park, reported by Cindy Thompson.
Hi. Okay, I went to Lake Avalon the previous weekend at sunset, so it was just gorgeous, quiet. Everything was clean and just beautiful, quiet sunset. The volleyball courts in the sand have a lot of little branches on them, which I'm assuming will be raked out before summer. That was the only thing I noticed. There were other people there, father and son playing catch with football. Some guy was fishing off the shore, walking their dog. The people, they were the ones I talked to, and they were just here the last year, new to Bella Vista and love it. They said they tried out the boat launch on a cold day in December. They were like, it was the coldest day in December, but they wanted to just try it out. So they're looking forward to trying it again in the summer. That was about it. We walked down the section of the trail there for a little ways, and they've been doing work down there, so that looked good too.
All right, okay, good. Thank you for that report. The next report goes to a landlocked park. It's the Medfield Complex, and Macy Eccles usually reports on this. She provided her written report here, which I'll read because she's not in attendance this time. So, over at Medfield Complex, overall, the area looked good. The day she went, there were 8 people working out and still had room for more. Very clean looking. That's the gym I go to as well. It's close to the house, and it's well utilized, and I like it, so it looks good. There's no areas for review there, according to Macy. And she mentioned she spoke to a member, a husband and wife who were just finishing up working out, and they were so pleased at how clean everything was and how friendly the staff was as well. In the words of the husband, the place is freaking awesome. So She does find the compliments. She finds these online for us every now and then and brings us to the committee. So I guess everything is looking good at Medfield. At the Skills Park, which is the outdoor area there where the skateboards and bikes run on the cement structure. And there's also some wooden features there too. She really couldn't get out and look due to the snow, but did see a few people out there braving the conditions. And there's no areas for review, no concerns, and otherwise, just the park area is looking good. Thank you, Macy. Next, we'll move on to a more detailed complex. This contains a lot of different facilities and amenities all in one complex, and that is our Riordan Hall area, and Scott Drias will take care of that for us.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, the day I went to Riordan, it was 70 degrees and sunny, so lots of activity going on at Riordan Hall, lots of buzz going on at Riordan Hall. The day I was there was talking with Ashley, and they were all excited that the board had approved the upgrade of Riordan Hall. So naturally, she's got a lot of planning to do. As was mentioned by Debbie, there's a lot of groups in there, a lot of things to figure out where they all going to go when the remodel happens. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she said it was tentatively scheduled to start in September.
Yeah, September start, and I'm going to give like a real brief presentation when we're done with the amenity report.
Sure.
So that way the rec committee will be 100% up to speed.
Yep. So something we need to think about in the future, Chris, if there's no Riordan Hall, all there's going to be is the tennis courts, things like that. So how do we want to report on that? And does
Exactly.
anybody else need help?
Yeah. Well, you still got all the outdoor complex area there. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. The tennis courts were full. There was a men's doubles league that was going on, some training over on courts 1 and 2. So there's a lot going on. I'd seen the tree that had been taken down. That actually took out a piece of sidewalk with it. So the day I was there, the maintenance crew was there replacing the broken up piece of concrete. So good to see that they jumped on that repair and got it out really quick. The pool obviously is still winterized, waiting for warmer weather. We're about, 3 months out from that now? Yeah. So looking forward to that opening back up. That always sees lots of activity in the summertime. The playground was in good shape. A few kids out there playing and swinging, even though it was the middle of a school day, but didn't question that. And there was one lady out on the miniature golf course. She was enjoying the day with her 2 children, had her arm in a slings, but she said she was definitely looking forward to getting out on the real golf course once her arm healed up, but really likes the new course out there, really enjoyed it. And that's been, for me, a common theme whenever I talk to anybody about the miniature golf course and the remodel they did last year. Everybody really likes how it turned out. And it still looks great. Didn't see anything out there as far as carpeting or anything like that. Obviously, sticks and leaves everywhere because of the weather, but that's to be expected. Other than that, nothing else to report.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Scott. We're going to move over to a couple of more amenities, lake-based, Lake Ann Park, and also London Park. Although Mary Elizabeth completed the reports with the help of her family here, she can't attend here. She took a pretty substantial athletic injury, so it might be a couple of periods before she's back with us physically. And she sent her report to me. I'll read it. But it's in a much smaller typeface than Macy's report, so I'll see if I get it all here. So over at Lake Ann, she says the lawns were well mowed and maintained. The garbage cans were empty. The doggy bags were full, meaning, the plastic bags people use, that full for use. And the grills looked well used, but in good working order, and the porta potties appeared in good condition. There is an area she noted for review over there at Lake Ann, and that is the picnic dock area. Here's where the small typeface got me, because there is no area for review. It kind of truncated together here. So she's now commenting on the picnic dock area. Looks great, super clean and well maintained. The lights were not working in the shelter. Are they off for the winter is the question.
They're on a timer. They can't be used during daylight hours.
Okay.
So I don't know when she was there, but I think they've got like a 5 o'clock in the evening turn on time
Okay,
when they can be used.
all right, so lights are on a timer and they're working. So I guess that kind of was an area for review within the context of that first statement. Okay, so that's it for Lake Ann, according to Mary Elizabeth. And at London Park, she had the pleasure of checking out this park for the first time as it's the first time she was reporting on the park. It is a very lovely, peaceful, and well-maintained park and dock area. She feels lucky to have the park in the system. Everything looked great when she stopped by to check the park with the family. She spoke to a member at London Park. They love the park and the area, the best in Bella Vista. I guess it's their favorite. It is their favorite area to kayak and also to take their boat out from. They love Bella Vista and all the things for older folks to do. That is London Park. Okay. Thank you for your efforts, Mary Elizabeth. We got those into the record. Next, we'll move over to Tanyard Creek, and that's handled by Denise Klinger here.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I was there on Sunday early in the morning, and there were cars that had beat me there. There were 3 people there then. The restroom, the men's restroom in particular, I know has been super clean, the floor by the volunteers, and it definitely smells better. But if that can be sealed to prevent that whole thing from happening again, that would really be nice, especially as the weather gets warmer. The only thing I really saw was all the trash cans needed to be emptied. I think we're starting to see, as nice days happen, the use is starting to increase again. The volunteers have also done some invasive vine removal from trees along the path, and they have marked out areas that they're going to attack, taking the vines off the trees. They've also painted the bridge uppers, and they did, Randy had a question about the 2 largest bridges and who's going to paint those uppers, the volunteers or the POA?
I'll talk to Randy.
Yeah, he just wasn't sure, just needed some instruction. My only area for review is those, they've gone through and they've put on all of those really nice new stickers on those signs. Probably half of them have already been vandalized. It is such a disappointment to see, and I have a picture in here, they're all scratched and people carving their names in them. So all that work that's been done by those people has to be redone. Now, I know it's only $3 or something per sign, but it's the time and effort, and they were having problems getting the paper, the plastic/paper to make them because of supply chain issues. So it's just, I don't know if at some point it's just not of any value to have them and less work to just take them out, since many of the trees and plants that they refer to are gone anyway. So it's just something to put out there for future discussion.
We've been making an effort to find new things to talk about and to retire some of the old signs.
Yeah.
And that's an ongoing process as things die and new things get noticed and that kind of thing.
Yeah. There's 200 signs. I don't know if all 200 are needed.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I've not seen many people going through and really reading the signs. A few people here and there, but people don't go there to read the signs anymore, really, I don't think. But anyway, my only member interactions, I talked with a woman who walks, runs, and bikes, and she takes her dogs to the park regularly, absolutely loves it, had no comments and no improvements, and then no additional observations at this time. So.
Yeah, maybe those signs could be consolidated down to a few major ones with.
That we take a little, that we're able to.
Yeah, more
better
robust
care
and
for.
everything, yeah.
Right, or, someplace where there, or, fewer signs or different material that's less vandal prone.
Yeah.
So, that's it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Appreciate the inputs. All right, so we got a couple items left here, gun ranges and trails in Greenway. I'll take care of those. I was at gun ranges this past weekend here. There was a little bit of snow covering still on the grounds there from, what was it, Friday's event? Yeah, hopefully that was the last snow of the season. But anyway, there was a few folks out on the pistol range, and I talked to the one gentleman at the pistol range, and he was very happy with it. You know, relatively new Bella Vista resident. Didn't really have the context to compare the outdoor range to another outdoor range, but he was entirely happy with it. And everything in the area looked good to me. Things were tidy and clean and organized, and so the The pistol range was in good condition. Rifle range over to the right of that, nobody was out there. Everything looked good there. I noticed that there's a rack for rifles. It's made out of wood, and it looks a little bit aged. So, on the list somewhere, we could make a note to maybe refinish that or remove it, whatever would make sense for the area. I'm not even sure how much it's used, but it's just something that caught my eye there. I drove over to the Trap and Skeet area. The building, the restrooms there, everything looks great, clean. It was busy. There was a bunch of folks checking in to shoot, and there was 5 gentlemen out there. Looked like they were having a little bit of a personal competition or something, but they were shooting a lot, and it looks like they were having a good time out there. So in summary, the ranges look in good condition, and they were used on a relatively cold Saturday.
Did you notice the new restrooms at the Skeet and Trap, and the new furniture and new paint and everything?
Well, this is my first time there.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
I didn't have any
so
reference
everything was
point.
new.
But you see, that's why I said everything looked great.
Everything.
Because
Well,
it is.
should, because the bathrooms are, the men's is only a couple weeks old, and the ladies is a month or 2 old, and the furniture is only a few months old. So we went through and Rick and John Urquhart did a good job.
Good stuff.
Working with Leslie Terry and a couple other people to really spruce up the place.
See, I knew it was a high-class operation the minute I stepped in there, so it was good. It was my first time reporting on the gun ranges, so. Okay. The trails, however, I reported on these a couple of times, and so a couple notes on the Greenway, which is the hard surface concrete trail. That is under tremendous use. I live close to the area there, so people are probably so grateful to have that. Walking dogs, running, hiking, biking, it's well used up from Blowing Springs to Medfield, up and down all day long. There's folks on it. And the soft trails, the item I could note there is that the volunteers that help maintain it, rake it, and cut the leaves and everything, they had a big kickoff meeting last Thursday. So they're organizing their forces, their troops for the next season of helping to care for the 100 miles or so of trails that we have. So that's the final note on trails. And that's the final note on amenity reports. Any questions or comments from anybody in that particular topic? All right, good. So we'll take it over then to the new business item, which is the Riordan Hall. Just like you said, an update on what's going to happen. What could we expect?
So I'm going to give you kind of an edited version of the presentation from the board meeting last month, but very pleased to announce that the board approved this and another project, and I'll touch on that one also. These are all conceptual designs. These aren't set in stone. You'll also see that we're proposing a name change. We'll have a nice plaque and picture of commemorating Riordan Hall, but we want to make have a name that is more current, modern, potentially the hub, potentially Bella Vista Central or something to that nature. You'll notice that in this concept design, they've removed the front part of the roof to let in more light into the entrance area. The entrance area, and I have an overhead view, but you'll see that we are proposing relocating when the pool table's up front and have a central check-in counter. That's a little check-in counter where the wording is. We would remove that horseshoe that takes up so much space and is very unproductive use of that area. This is just a conceptual view. You'll notice all the equipment is by and large the same. That's not how it would be, but you'll notice that the lighting, we're going to really improve the lighting in that area. We're going to have meeting space and to address Deb's interests, card space and so forth. So here's kind of an overhead view. And I'm going to zero into a couple areas to kind of let you view them a little bit closer. I would say that these plans are about 80% set, so still some work to go. The general footprint of the building will stay by and large the same. Remember in 18, we proposed a complete renovation, I mean a completely new building and so forth, and that was $18 million and way too much. This is a $4.1 million project, so quite a bit less. So here's that front entryway area, and as you come through, you'll see up on the right hand or the upper section is where you'd have that kind of slanted counter when you come in. So you'd have one counter area that people would feed through. Nice seating area for them. In the survey that we did, and if you recall, we received about 12,000 responses to the surveys. We also did the focus groups. The number one item that needed to be addressed at Reardon Hall is fitness. It really needs a lot of work. And when we're talking about number one, we're talking about 34% compared to the very next item was below 10%. So it was a huge mandate. We need to improve the fitness area. So right now, when you walk in, the fitness area is on the right-hand side. What we would do is we would shift it to the left-hand side. We would bump out. So if you look at these walls on the bottom and to the right, we're bumping out further to the right, which is kind of matching the bump out on the right-hand side of the building. And then the bumping out below, we're going to add about 1,000 square feet. So it's going to give us a lot of additional room for fitness and weights and so forth. You'll notice that we've added a restroom in the upper right-hand corner. The ladies' restroom is right in that area, so we can easily tap in, which will allow us to, you ready for this? 24-hour access. So when Chris wants to work out at 2 o'clock in the morning, and everybody else is asleep, like they should be, you can work out at 2 o'clock in the morning. With our new North Star computer system, you'll be able to use your phone and you'll be able to check in, and we'll have cameras in case people decide to do stupid stuff and so forth. So pretty neat with that. Moving to the interior of the building, you'll see that the walls have by and large remained the same. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in pickleball courts, the lines in the ground. So we're going to have a multi-purpose. So you'll be able to, let's say we have yoga at 9 o'clock, and at 9:45 yoga ends, and then the guys run in, they put the yoga stuff away, and they set up the nets, and at 10 o'clock, indoor pickleball begins, and that's for 2 hours or something to that nature. So really increase the multi-functionality of the building. We talked about that one of the most important items in the survey was the fitness area. Well, on the other end of that spectrum, one of the least important items was the stage. And the stage is only used a handful of times each year, yet it takes up a huge amount of square footage. So what we're proposing is that we would shrink that area. We would still have a storage area. Now, look at what we've done at Branchwood. We have that nice little storage area. You don't even take notice of it, but we have all those chairs in there. So when we have chair yoga, they can easily open up the doors, pull out the chairs, put out the chair yoga, and then easily get it back in, and then we have Tai Chi the very next hour, and makes it very functional. Same thing we want to do there. This is going to be larger than that, and so forth. We'll still have risers. Okay, so we'll still be able to create a stage if we had a band or something like that, but it'll be a modular system. So maybe we only need a 4x4 for yoga so the instructor can be above everybody, but we don't need much more than that. But then maybe later on we're having a band and we need all the modules because it's a big setup. Also, by having it a module in that way, we could place those risers in different locations throughout the room and not be locked in to the stage in one particular area. So that's pretty neat. This is the restroom area. I think not a lot to see here, other than you'll notice in the restrooms in the middle of this diagram, we've added showers. So now you could go in, either yourself or with the kids, your family and so forth. You can use the restroom, you can get changed, and you can shower, and then you can exit. So it makes it very flexible. So here's the timeline. So the board voted on this, so we're already moving forward. We've already sent out RFQs. We've already had a meeting with the entire team meeting, and so we've involved a lot of senior staff in the development of this. So the game plan is to begin towards September, and it's a 9 to 12 month build out. The building will be completely closed. There's just no possible way of trying to be open and doing all this extensive work. The entire electrical system has to be completely redone. I don't know if anybody is aware of this, but a couple weeks ago we had a major electrical incident. The entire building almost burned down. The old equipment is really in bad shape. There is no insulation in the attic area. We're doing an outstanding job heating the outdoors, which is not fuel efficient at all. Once we're under construction, you'll see at the bottom of this, we're going to start doing tours. This is what we did at Lake Point, at the Country Club, at Branchwood. Every 2 weeks or once a month, we ask the contractor to clear everything away. We invite the membership in, and we take them on a tour and show them what we're doing. It's the membership's money. We want them to see how we're spending the money, and it really builds in the enthusiasm. It's kind of fun. This is getting, the presentation is a lot longer that I gave to the board. You'll see it's $4.15 million. This is a very big project, and we're already talking about purchasing items because supply chain issues. You read about that in the newspapers, and it's real. It's a serious problem. Cost goes up and so forth. I'm going to kind of skip through. You can look at this at home, but the other thing is, so the building originally opened in October, and in October of 23 is our goal to be open so that we can have our 50th anniversary grand reopening at the same time. We might open up, do a soft opening 1 or 2 months early or something like that, but it'd be kind of neat to open up. And we're going to go one step further. So this is not necessarily Reardon related, but we're going to relocate. So this is the overhead. On the left-hand side is the roof structure for Reardon, and you can see the pools and the tennis courts. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the parking lot. And we're going to build a centrally located member services water building, all in one location. So we're going to get rid of the Huntley and the Medfield location. We're going to pull everything together in one central location in the community. We'll have drive-through capability. This is just a loose diagram that I put together. It's not going to be a square building. I just was like, oh, okay. But it'll be about 3,000 square feet. It'll have probably 2 lanes. And so you can come up Reardon Road, curve in here, go through the drive-through. You can make a payment, pick up a guest passes or something like that, and you can zip right out. A lot of people like to do that online, but still, we have a lot of people that want to do that in person. And our goal is, I think our member services staff does an outstanding job, but you go into Huntley and it's kind of DMV-ish, and that's not a compliment. And our goal would be to create a very nice experience for our membership. This is the first place that many of our members, new members, go to, prospective members, and we would have an office dedicated just to new members that they can go in, they can sit and ask questions. And what's really important here, by vacating Medfield, that area, we can then increase the size of the fitness facility at Medfield by about 40%, 50%. And that is our smallest workout facility. So that would be a project that we would probably do in, probably in 24, something to that nature. So a lot of things occurring. Why are these happening at the same time? Is because we're going to actually get a loan to pay for half of the work, and we're going to end up doing both of them simultaneously because we'll have the same architect, same contractor, and chances are when they go out to bid, they're going to use the same plumber, the same electrician, and so forth. So we're going to get some bulk discount by packaging it all together all at one time. Both buildings will probably be completed at about the same time, although Reardon Hall is probably the more complex of the projects. And anytime you're doing a renovation, there'll be times when you open up a wall and you go, "Oh God." That happens with every renovation. So hopefully it doesn't happen too often. So that is what's going on. That's a lot going on. And here's kind of some of the benefits. It'll be approximately a 3,000 square foot building, and we really think it's going to take our service level to the next level. I'm sure I could have phrased that better. Any questions?
Yeah, just on the membership part of it, and not about the building. Is there thoughts or maybe moving to more of an online service where people can do their own? Obviously, water payments are a little bit different, and you do have the online payment for the water, but being able to renew your cards or getting guest passes or things like that.
You can do that right now, already online. With North Star, it's going to be even easier, but there's still always going to be an element within our community that's going to want to do it in person. And we're going to create a really nice environment. We're not going to have chairs stacked against the wall. You're going to come in, you're going to have a nice seating area. We're going to have a nice coffee machine, cookies and so forth. We want to just really make it very welcoming. You'll also notice that what we've done is we've kind of shoved this building into the corner here because one of the other things that we learned from the survey is the importance of having a large indoor pool. And this would be, on the upper section of this graph would be a logical place to put a large indoor pool. So what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to situate member services right in the middle of that parking lot, and then we try and put it in a building a couple of years from now and go, well, this is the wrong spot, and now we got a lot of space, but we have to use it wisely. So those are the plans. Jessica, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I had a gentleman ask me at Branchwood the other day, are they still gonna have cookies when they open that new member services? And I said, I'll check with Carmen, but I'm sure they will.
That's very popular. Now we ask for everybody's patience because with improvement and growth, there comes a little bit of pain. And we have a lot of groups, specifically Reardon. Member services, we're going to keep those two open while we're doing construction, so that's not going to be a problem. But with the closure of Reardon, it's going to be an inconvenience at all of our locations because we're going to displace all those people, and we're going to be able to take care of some of them at Branchwood at Medfield, but for many of them, not unlike what happened when we were closed for a year plus because of COVID, we're not going to be able to accommodate them. So, that bridge club that we had to displace for a year during COVID, we're going to have to displace them again, so forth. But I will point out, so I can't, it's hard to show this, but you'll notice in the bottom left corner, we have 2 small rooms, and then you go up a little bit and you add a third room. So three card rooms, meeting rooms, so forth. And let's go to the very top in the center. There's another one in that same color blue. There's going to be a meeting room there. Right now we have that we call it the Coca-Cola Room. It's where the Coke machine is, and that's a huge amount of square footage for an ingress-egress area. We're going to narrow that down. We're still going to have the ingress-egress, but then we're going to have meeting, and then the upper right-hand corner is another larger meeting room. So you'll see that we're actually going to have 5 meeting rooms, not ignoring the main hall, so forth. So we really think that by restructuring it in this way, we're actually going to add some utilization. While we still got a 20,000 square foot building, maybe 21,000 square foot with the bump out. Okay. Yes, question.
Does that then remove the kitchen and all that from the back?
We're still going to have we're going to call it a catering kitchen, a warming kitchen. We don't have the capability even right now for someone to come in and cook from scratch. We haven't had that in a long time. There used to be a full kitchen there. So it's always been kind of a catering kitchen. We're going to reduce the size of that catering kitchen by a little bit. We still have the walk-in freezers and so forth, and that stuff. So we'll have some kitchen capabilities, but
And then what about the kiln and everything for the Pottery Club?
unfortunately, those were very few usage of that. So if you came to our focus group meetings, we were very frank. I was very frank and said, okay, I'm going to put you in the seat of the board, and you're going to have to make not only the easy, fun questions or answers, come up with the fun answers, but you're going to have to come up with the hard ones. For example, the stage. That's a hard decision. Not everybody's going to be happy with that decision. Removing the kilns. Unfortunately, not a lot of people use that amenity. We can get more utilization out of that and you'll notice where the kilns are currently located is where the weights are. So we have one group of users and another group. And so I view it somewhat like Branchwood. So Branchwood years ago was a failed golf course that very few people were using. They even lowered the green fees down to $6 and still there was not enough utilization. We turned it into a walking trail and a disc golf course, and lo and behold, in 17 we had to increase the size of the parking lot because there was so much increase in usage. So to me, that is an example of a repurposing success story. But every once in a while, even though the golf course has been closed for 8+ years, every once in a while I'll get a property owner that pulls me inside and says, we need to reopen the golf course. So it's still, so some answers are very easy and some are very challenging to make, and you have to make them with a lot of care. Jessica's the one that feels a lot of those, I can't believe you're getting rid of the kiln, and those kind of questions. Those are hard questions and so forth.
So you kind of touched on this, but I was interested to know if we will be able to reach out to, in the coming months before September, all the groups that will be impacted and try to accommodate them, recommend other facilities or alternates that they could pursue. Just in other words, try to give them a secondary option to continue on with their interests.
They're all coming to us. Reardon's getting hammered right now with a lot of requests, and we're encouraging people. My mom is in a bridge club, and they go from house to house hosting it. Maybe some of the churches may be able to help out. But with that being said, there's going to be some groups that are going to be disappointed,
right?
And are going to have to give us some patience while we renovate.
Okay, but we'll be kind of proactively trying to reach them before we shut the doors.
Yeah, we're not going to shut the doors, and they're going to come up the next week and go, hey, what happened?
Okay, all right,
So.
good.
Just out of curiosity, what's going to happen with Huntley? I mean,
Great question. So Huntley, first of all, the Huntley location is not very customer focused. Our water department continues to grow. We're at 15,000 homes, so 15,000 meters. So you're talking about, we have basically the same square footage, yet we have about 3,000 or 4,000 additional homes. So we're going to absorb that as additional office space. Okay. It's not, when I talk about DMV look, I think I'm okay with the DMV look for our employees, but not for our members.
Okay, good.
All right. Thank you for that exciting news and the
Yeah.
update. You know, we look forward to seeing that exciting reopening. And if you need any help from the committee here with things before that, you know, just reach out to us, let us know. And I suppose that takes care of your regular segment for this meeting too.
I think I've spoken enough.
All right, good deal. I thought so. Okay, so in a good way, right? So we'll move over to Rick Eccles for his report.
I'll try to give an abbreviated version. The Loch Lomond drawdown is behind us. We've got the gates closed except for a small conservation flow to help benefit aquatic life downstream. We are currently at 43.5 inches. We are coming back at the rate of about 1.5 inches a day, and that has been without significant precipitation. So if we get a good thunderstorm, that'll really add to the water in the lake. The Lake Ann sinkhole, we've got our siphon going on that. It's coming down slowly. That's going to need to be brought down about 2 feet in order to do the fill that is anticipated to happen at the end of the month or the first part of April. The POA Rangers have been busy, but basically getting ready for summer activities. Contacts have been low due to the weather, but we anticipate that to ramp up in the months ahead. Grounds maintenance is making repairs to the Loch Lomond spillway. Some of the cracks there have expanded, and they're filling those. We have repaired the catwalk there at the spillway as well. Looking for some guidance from our insurance company about some railing, and we should have an answer shortly on that. There's been some discussion at this meeting about a old concrete picnic table at Lake Avalon, and that's still on our radar. We're waiting for slightly drier conditions in order to get that busted up and removed. And we talked about the hand sanitizers. So at Tanyard Creek, there was a large oak log that we cut, or it came down. We had a tree service remove most of it. The intention was to leave that log there and to do an interpretive sign of, aging it and talking about the different aspects of the log. Anyway, it has disappeared. Don't know what happened to it. I'm assuming maybe somebody took it for lumber. I don't know. But anyway, it was absolutely huge. It wasn't an easy prospect. But anyway, and we're adding some new interpretive signs. Obviously, we have to make some repairs and reevaluate some of those other signs. The fisheries and lakes ecology, we've made some recommendation changes to our fish harvest. Those changes are going to be available on our website and at the kiosks. There's going to be interpretive signs there on that. That'll be coming in the next couple weeks, just as soon as we can get them updated. We have started our spring spawning of saugeye. They'll be going into the golf course ponds again the last year, because next year we'll have aquaculture ponds below Loch Lomond and that part of that big grassy area. And that's basically my report.
Okay, thank you. I also saw an article in the Bella Vista magazine explaining the fish sampling and everything, and kind of laying the foundation for a change in catch limits.
Yes.
So yeah, with the modern technology, you really could catch too many fish.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. So we'll go over to John Rickard, if he has anything from the ranges, additional information, and whatever else you have for us.
I'll go really quick. February is typically our slowest month, was this month as well. We were on par with last year's numbers year over year, which is really great considering we lost a number of days of operation due to inclement weather. Renovations are 95% complete over at Trap and Ski. We're down to just small details now. So thanks to everybody that was involved in that project. It's turned out really well, I think. So if you guys would like, come over, take a look. Looks really great. Let's see. We're performing some berm maintenance at Rifle Pistol today, and that work is going to spill over into tomorrow. So the rifle and pistol range will be closed tomorrow due to some extended maintenance. We just couldn't get it back in a workable shape today. And then lastly, we had our first special event of the year. That happened this past Sunday. It was a youth tournament. It was really well attended with 80 shooters. So thank you guys. That's all I got.
Thanks, John. Okay, Jessica, do you have anything from wellness? I assume you'll take care of that for Joan?
Yes, I will. And I'm super excited about Reardon Hall. I'm sure a lot of you guys are.
Yeah.
So there will be some hard decisions, but just based on, I always try to think about the end game. Reardon Hall, just by its sheer location, the importance of that building and what it's going to look like in the end is going to be well worth it, just like Branchwood was. So, okay, so to get to the rec update, I'll start first with the marina opens April 1st. So excited about that. It'll be open 8 to 2, Tuesday through Thursday, Friday to Sunday, 8 to 5, but those hours will be expanded as the season gets busier. Tennis, like Lauren pointed out, there was, I sat in, had some productive meetings, working with them to address some needs. The tree was taken down, as she said, and the schedule for the mixers will go out in the e-letter and in connections, and that'll be April 8th, along with some other tennis news. So the Easter egg hunt is right around the corner. I get super excited about that because I'm pretty popular that day. But so Saturday, April 16th, right now it's planned to be the hunt. We could have to shift because COVID, but right now it's going to be the original hunt like we got to have 2 years ago, and that's going to be super fun. We'll have 4 different age groups, golden eggs. They'll be fun times. And the Spring Bazaar is coming up. That is Saturday, April 23rd. I talked to Ashley just before we came, and it looks like, I think there's only 3 spots left. So we're looking at now over 60 local vendors. So it's gonna be busy. Along with that day in a room will be the summer activity sign-up day for paddleboard camp, tennis camp, swim team, swim lessons. So that's really a big kickoff. And for us, I consider us opening in April in my head, as Scott was saying. So, and the Branchwood out at the Pickleball Court area, it had to be seated out there. The guys got out there, got it seated because, we had a lot of bad weather, some mud. And I misspoke earlier about the sunshade. That'll be next Tuesday. They'll be out installing the sunshade. I think I said this Tuesday. And the furniture, like I said, is ordered, supply chain, hopefully soon. Also, to tell you, Cindy, I believe I haven't met you, I'm Jessica. So the beach restrooms, as of today, they have opened. So they'll be limited until we open the beach, but they'll be open in the morning to about 3, and then later Friday, Saturday, and Sundays around 6 or 7. But then they'll be open much longer once we get going. But yeah, so those will open up again. And I was out there on Sunday, and there was a lot of people out there. So, but yeah, that's about it that I can think of. So we're pretty excited. It's our busy time. So get going. And then of course I should have done this first, but. So I wanted to introduce Nicole Finney, who will now be the Branchwood manager. I'll still be around at Branchwood, so it's like my little baby. But Nicole is great, and I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here. I've been in fitness most of my life. I played sports since I was 10 years old. I come from California. I used to manage 24-hour fitnesses as well as Equinox. 5 years ago, my husband and I moved here, thought we were going to retire, realized that wasn't the best bet for me. It was a little too many hours. So I worked at Walton Life Fitness Center for a year. Before here, I was a fitness coordinator. Then I came here to Branchwood. I was working the mornings for a year, and then this job opened up. So I applied, and now I'm excited to be the new Branchwood manager.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
There.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Jessica, for the report. And as is customary, we come over to the marketing department now to end us on good notes. And Judy Griffin, please take us away.
Or last, I mean, you see us everywhere, but undercover. So just a couple of things real quick. Debbie kind of stole my thunder because those were the two things I was going to talk about. But as far as the APT, if you don't have Debbie's contact information, you can certainly email us. Kim is over that particular piece for the POA for the APT. And we don't need, I mean, we want like maybe over $25 or so, $30 value of items, but you don't need a huge item because we're doing some baskets, obviously, and blending things together. And if you just want to make a contribution, wine is always great. We have a wine pull. It does really well, and all the folks that come to the auction really like that. So if you just mention it around, you never know on a network how somebody might be interested. So, and then the welcome new member meetings, I mention it to a lot of the new members that I meet, and because they're new, they really don't see the publicity. So if you meet a new member, there's always one coming up, soon. So you just mention that, and you can, again, give them my information or Debbie's information, and we'll get them on the list. So, and that's, other than we're busy, everybody else is busy, and we're busy too. So thanks.
Well, okay, we'll bring this to a close here. So I'd like to thank you all for the time you put into your reports and everything. Always valuable information. Tom, thank you for the overview of Riordan. Such an exciting thing that's going to be for us, and we look forward to that. So we'll end it on that high note. All we need is a motion to adjourn the meeting, and then a second.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. All right, we're all set. This meeting is adjourned for March. We'll see you April 11th. Thanks, everybody.